Learn all must-know glossary terms for CompTIA Security SY0-701, Part 7.
Supply chain analysis. It is the process where we thoroughly evaluate every element and process inside a vendor supply chain, starting from getting raw materials all the way through to product delivery.
Switch. This is a network device that skillfully manages data traffic. Instead of broadcasting packets to every network device, it only sends them to the specific devices that need them.
Symmetric encryption. This cryptographic method only uses one key for both encryption and decryption.
System or process audit. This is a critical evaluation of every component within a system or process, along with the policies linked to them.
This is an internal event used specifically to validate and make better an organization's plan for responding to incidents.
This is a mode where a hardware or software component lets us observe and capture network data as it moves from one point to another. Technical controls. This is a category of controls that includes the logical controls run by computer systems. Things like authentication, managing access, auditing, and cryptography are all examples of these technical controls. This describes the long-term cost associated with old systems, quick shortcuts, and temporary fixes. These are sometimes put in place just to deploy automated solutions rapidly. Technical implications. These are the potential consequences or the effects that a technology-related decision or event might have within the cybersecurity environment. Technology capacity planning. This is a process that includes evaluating the needed computational power, software, and hardware so the organization can meet its future demands. This is the outcome we get from running a specific test, such as a penetration test, a vulnerability assessment, or a simulated attack. This is the process of confirming that an organization's strategies for resilience and recovery are valid within its security architecture. This is a third-party certificate that has been verified and issued by a third-party certificate authority that we trust. This is an external organization or provider of services that offers specialized services or applications designed to integrate with what the cloud provider offers. Threat actor. This is an attacker who usually intends to compromise a system's confidentiality, integrity, or availability, often so they can achieve personal, financial, or political gain. This is a threat feed, a channel for real-time transmission, and a repository for data points or indicators that might signify a cyber threat. Threat hunting. This is a proactive approach in cybersecurity where we search through networks and datasets to find and isolate advanced threats, especially the ones that often evade the traditional security measures that are reactive. Threat scope reduction. This is the process of putting strategies in place to limit the potential damage a threat could inflict on an organization. Within the Zero Trust model, we reduce the scope of these potential threats by limiting the privileges held by users, systems, and processes, which helps minimize the possible points of attack. This is an automated system capable of detecting irregularities, like an unauthorized login attempt, and then creating a ticket or an incident report inside a system used for tracking issues, problems, or activities that need attention or require action. Time of day restriction. This is a limit put in place to control system access based only on the chronological context of when someone tries to log in. Tokenization. This is the process of taking sensitive data and replacing it with placeholders that are not sensitive. Trade secret. This is confidential information that provides a business with a competitive advantage over others within its industry.
This is the process of giving people the skills and knowledge they need to be able to manage and effectively mitigate security incidents.
Transport layer security. This is an encryption protocol used for data transfer. It is the modern replacement for the SSL protocol and is very widely used today for keeping communications secure across the Internet.
It is the process of choosing the way data packets are sent across the network. Transport communication. This refers to the security safeguards that are applied to data while it is moving across networks, traveling from its origin point to its destination. It is a pattern found in security data that could show that a new threat or a new vulnerability is beginning to appear. This is a type of harmful software that looks like it is doing something good or desirable, but it is actually carrying out malicious actions hidden from view. This is a technology built into hardware that was designed to offer secure features, such as the storing of cryptographic keys. This is a technique that uses human mistakes made when someone is typing web addresses or URLs into their browser. Unauthorized access. This means getting access without having the proper permission. When someone gets unauthorized access to confidential or proprietary information, it could cause serious harm to that organization. These are unexpected behavior. These are actions or patterns of activity that move away from the established standards or the typical baseline behaviors. Unified Security Management, UTM. This is an integrated security solution that brings multiple security features together into one device, and it is usually ready to be used right out of the box. These are unintentional behavior. These are actions taken by users that unintentionally place the organization's digital security at risk. This is an uninterruptible device that gives emergency power to a load whenever the main power or the input power source fails. It is also called an uninterruptible power source. This is a way to find security weaknesses where the people testing the system have no inside knowledge beforehand about the system's architecture, network maps, or any other private details. This is also known as black box testing. This refers to programs on a system that are no longer being actively used or programs that have been replaced by a more recently updated design. Unskilled attacker. This describes an attacker who has little or maybe even no technology skills at all, and who uses computer code written by other people that anyone can find for free on the internet. Unsupported systems and applications. These are software tools or platforms where the developer or vendor no longer provides regular updates, security fixes, or technical assistance. This is the process of modifying an existing diagram for a system or network by adding in any changes that have happened since that diagram was first put together. URL scanning. This is a process where web addresses are carefully examined and sorted into categories to find any websites that could potentially cause harm. User Behavior Analytics, UBA. This is a field within digital security that uses machine learning methods to follow, gather, and assess what users are doing on a network, so it can detect unusual activity that might point to a security threat. User provisioning. This is the process of setting up a user account in the system and giving it the correct permissions and roles it needs. This is the process of making certain that weaknesses have been properly dealt with and that the controls in place are effectively reducing or easing the risks. Vendor monitoring. This is a process that goes further than just ticking off compliance boxes. It means actively making sure that vendors meet or do even better than the standards for performance, security, and reliability written in the contractual agreements. This is the process of carefully looking at and choosing a provider for a product or service from a third party that fits exactly with the organization's goals, needs, and how much risk they are willing to take. This is the process of bringing together all the insights from rescanning and auditing work to confirm whether the efforts made to fix issues were a success or a failure. This is a system that keeps a record of all the changes made to a file or a group of files as time goes on, which makes it possible to bring back older specific versions later if needed.
Virtual machine VM escape. This is an attack that happens when a malicious actor can break out of the boundaries of a virtual machine and get full access to the main host system.
This is a way to connect two or more computers or devices, even if they aren't actually on the same private network.
Virtualization. This technology lets us create several simulated environments or dedicated resources, all coming from just one physical hardware system.
This is code that runs on a computer without the user knowing it. It infects the machine when the code is accessed and then executed. Vishing. This is a phishing attempt that starts with a phone call, which often uses voice over IP or VoIP systems.
Term: voice call. These are threats that cover many malicious actions done through phone calls. This includes tricky things like vishing, which is voice phishing, plus unauthorized call interception and faking caller ID, known as spoofing.
Term: volume encryption. This is just encrypting a specific part or portion of a hard drive.
Vulnerability classification. This is how we categorize or organize the vulnerabilities found inside a system or application. This grouping is usually based on things like what the vulnerability is, the risk it carries, which component it affects, or the potential impact it could have.
This is the systematic approach we use to deal and fix vulnerabilities we have found in an organization's technology environment. Vulnerability scan. This is the process of looking systematically at a network, a system, or an application to find and assess security weaknesses or flaws that could be exploited by attackers. Vulnerability scanner. This is a tool created to automatically find weaknesses in both systems and networks. Vulnerable software. This is software that has flaws or weaknesses in its code or design. Attackers can take advantage of these flaws to get unauthorized access, interrupt operations, or start other malicious activities. Term: war. This refers to politically motivated attacks on an adversary's information systems that are sponsored by a state. People often call this cyber warfare. Term: warm site. Definition: this is a recovery site that already has computers, phones, and servers, but they might need a little configuration before users can actually start working on them. Watering hole attack. This is a strategy where users are targeted based on the websites they visit most often. This is a specialized web application firewall. It does this by watching and filtering the HTTP or HTTPS traffic, moving between a web application and the internet. Term: web filtering. Definition: this is a mechanism used to control who can access certain websites or specific content on the web based on criteria set ahead of time. This technology lets devices exchange data without wires across a computer network. Wi-Fi Protected Access 3, WPA3. This is a security protocol created to improve on the older WPA2 protocol. It does this by giving wireless networks better features for both encryption and authentication. Term: wildcard. Definition: this is a symbol used to stand in for one or more characters inside a string. You often see it used in search queries or in regular expressions. Term: wired network. Definition: this is a network where the devices are connected using physical cables. These kinds of networks are usually thought of as being more secure than ones that use wireless connections. This is an attack that advantages of vulnerabilities found in a Wi-Fi network. This is simply a network where all the devices are connected without needing physical cables. This is a work order/statement of work. This is a formal document that explains the work activities, the deliverables, and the timeline involved when a vendor is performing certain specified work for a client. Workforce multiplier. This is a benefit of automation where a team's productivity is enhanced by automating routine tasks. Efficiency increases because automation handles those repetitive tasks, letting a smaller team focus on higher-level strategic activities instead. Term workstation. This is a high-performance computer intended for use with a specialized application. Worm. This is malware that is very similar to a virus, only it has the ability to replicate itself.
This is a zero-trust model that enhances overall security by assuming that no user or system is trustworthy by default. This necessity means there must be continuous verification, which works to minimize the risk of breaches. The guiding principle is to simply not trust anything automatically.
This is a type of zero-day vulnerability. This is a type of vulnerability that is either disclosed by a person or exploited by an attacker before the software creator has a chance to create a patch that fixes the underlying issue. Thank you for learning.